welcome to this edition of the Cancer Coach Talks. I'm your host, Leslie Nance. And tonight we're going to be talking about the three things that your oncologist will never say. And we're going to talk about why that may be blocking your path to healing. Interesting, right? Interesting to think about that might be something that is keeping us from our healing potential. So, let me start by introducing myself. My name is Leslie Nance. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist, a certified holistic cancer coach. That's what all those little fancy letters after my name mean. I'm also an 8-year cancer survivor, and I come here most Tuesdays here to talk with you about your ability to become the boss of your cancer and stop letting cancer boss you around and realize the tools that you can put in place to really make your body an inhospitable environment to cancer and to disease. So, welcome, whether this is your first time tuning in or you have watched this many, many times. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. If you're here live, hello, hello. Thank you. Be sure you drop a comment. Over in the comment section. That's how we know who is here, is by doing that. If you're watching this in replay on Facebook or YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you find extreme value in our conversation today. So we're just going to get started just right away this evening. So, I want to discuss with you the three things that your oncologist will never say. And I want to talk about these from a perspective about, like, why do we want to hear these things? Why do we want our doctors to even say the things that I am going to share with you guys here this evening? And I think that that's an important distinction to understand. Why my camera's being weird. Stop being weird, camera. It's like flashing colors. Like I'm a one color and then I move and then I'm another color. Look, I'm magic. Okay, sorry. I think it's important that we understand the distinction. Maybe if I move back a little bit, it will help. That we understand the distinction around what that is, and the psychology actually around why we look for so much validation from our treating oncologist. So whether you have cancer, whether you've had cancer, this is going to help you in all different arenas when we think about how we interact with the people that are treating us. Thinking about thinking about a cancer diagnosis or just our health in general. So here's the three things. You think that I'm going to wait, right? You think that I'm just going to disperse them throughout the conversation, but we're going to actually kick off the conversation with the three things that your oncologists are never going to say to you. One of those is that your diet, the diet that you choose, can cure your cancer. You're never going to get an oncologist on board that is going to agree with that 100%. Hey, Jeff, it's good to see you. You're never going to find an oncologist, a medical oncologist, who is going to say that. Listen to my words. I'm not saying admit that. Right? A lot of people would like you to believe that that they're just not admitting it. That it's true, but they're just not admitting it. They are never going to say that to you. The other thing, number two, what they're going to say is that they'll never say, I don't agree with the recommended treatment path. You might think that another oncologist would say that about another oncologist, but I guarantee you they're never going to conflict with someone else's opinion. They might say, I think that there's a better way. I think that there is something else we can do. But they are never going to say, I don't agree with that treatment path. Never. The other thing that you're never going to hear them say is, you will never have cancer again. It's an impossibility. They don't have a crystal ball. You don't have a crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball. Nobody can make that promise to anyone ever. But why do we want our doctors to say this? Why do we want our doctors to say that you can be cured of your cancer with nutrition? Why do we want our doctors to say that they don't agree with the recommended treatments? Why do we want our doctors to say, you will never have cancer again? That one may seem a little more obvious than some of the others, right? That one may seem like, oh, well, that one's like, duh. Of course, we would want somebody to say that. I would want somebody to say that to me if they really believed it, if they could say it with conviction. But they can't do any of these things. And the reason is because it could be malpractice for them, or they could cause malpractice for another doctor. They could serve in a malpractice suit. And I promise you that nobody wants to get wrapped up in that, right? But it would be malpractice, it would be negligence, it would be an omission of the truth. It could actually cause you injury or harm. They could actually do harm. As much as we want them to say these things to us, they can't. But why is that? Why do we crave that type of attention from our doctors? Well, first off, we see them as an authority. If you don't see your doctor as an authority, you need to find a new doctor. If you don't trust your doctor, if you don't have some extreme trust in the person that is treating you for cancer, then you need to hightail it out of there. And you need to find yourself another doctor. And I'm not kidding around when I say that. That can do you way more harm than good. I had a client a couple weeks ago. She and I were having a conversation one on one. I have a couple of one on one conversations with my clients that are going through my program, the Cancer Boss program. And we were having a one on one, and she was saying, my doctor's just abrasive. He's really abrasive. And I said to her, I said, but the distinction is there. Do you feel cared for? Is he caring for you in a way that makes you feel like you are on the right track? And she said, absolutely. She's like, he's just not as cozy as I want him to be. And I said, well, that's not a doctor being a bad doctor. That's just his personality. He's probably like that with everybody, not just being a doctor, but that's just his personality. Don't let your conflict of your personality stand in the way of having a really good doctor. Do you guys see the distinction there? Now, then, I had a doctor that was nothing but fear, 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 fear. You guys have heard me tell the story how she held up a piece of paper and she drew this woman's body and she drew out all these dots on it. She was like, your cancer could be here and it could be here and it could be there and it could be here and it could be la 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 la. And she's the one that said to me, if you don't do everything I'm telling you to do, you're going to have cancer. Your cancer is going to come back. It's going to be within the year and it's going to be all over your body. And I was like, see ya. Bye, Felicia. That's not her name. And I know that's really old to say that, but that's how I felt. I was like, I am so out of here. I picked up my stuff and I walked out of the office and she was like, well, don't forget to schedule your next appointment. And I was like, there won't be a next appointment with you, lady. I did not feel cared for. It wasn't because she was abrasive. It wasn't because she was telling the truth. It's because she was trying to rule with fear. And I wasn't going to be ruled by fear. Right? I wasn't going to let this woman control me by fear. Now, then, if she had said to me, these are the possibilities, this is what could be going on, like the next doctor said. And so we're going to treat you with the best of our abilities to keep that from happening. Then I would have been like, okay, that makes sense. That resonates. But before we can even get out the door, she has me with one foot in the grave. And I'm like, no, 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 lady. Nope, sorry. And she was supposedly the best oncologist in all of Northern Colorado. Maybe she's really good at what she does, but she's not ruling me with fear. That does not resonate with me. I walked right out of there, never went back, never spoke to her again. So that warranted me changing doctors, finding somebody who could speak to me in a way that felt like I was being cared for. So you see the distinctions there, right? You see one doctor that's just abrasive, but you feel cared for by them. Your personalities aren't exactly aligned, but you really do feel cared for and that you feel like they're doing a good job. And then you have a doctor over here that I experienced that was just total fear, 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 fear. I did not resonate with. I could not work with her. She messed with my mindset so much, my ability, my capability of what I thought it was going to be. She just tore that down every layer. Nope, 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 nope. You see the difference there? I want to make sure you understand that distinction. But why do we have this? Why do we want our doctors to say these things to us that they will never say? And the main reason is that we're looking for validation. Cancer is traumatizing. And we are looking for anyone that will tell us that we will be okay. You're going to be okay. We're looking for somebody to tell us that we'll never have cancer again. Even though we know nobody can tell us that, we're just hoping and praying somebody will. We probably wouldn't even believe them, but it'd be nice to hear it. We're looking for somebody to tell us that the recommended treatments aren't necessary. A few days ago, I was speaking to a woman who was thinking about entering the program. Ultimately, she was not a good fit, but she was telling me about a particular procedure that they wanted to do. And she said, I kept questioning my doctor. Are you sure? Are you sure that that's what we have to do? Couldn't we do this instead? And her doctor said to her, Are you a doctor? And she said, No. And he said, Then let me be the doctor. And so then I explained to her that what he is recommending is actually one of the best course of treatments she could possibly think of. It was actually going to be incredibly beneficial for her. She trusted me when I said it. She didn't trust him when he said it. It's probably the way he said it. But we're looking for anybody that will tell us or validate what we're feeling down deep inside here. A way out, a way for this to really not be happening, a way for cancer to just magically disappear somehow and never come back again. It's such a traumatizing event. We want somebody to tell us that you can just simply switch your lifestyle habits and everything is going to be well again. But it's not the truth. It's not how cancer behaves in the body. Do switching lifestyle habits have a benefit? Absolutely. Absolutely, they do. Can they keep you? Is lifestyle important for prevention? 100%. Any doctor would tell you that. Maintain your weight. Make sure that you're not, you don't smoke. Make sure that you're not drinking alcohol excessively or even at all. Make sure that you're eating a healthy diet. Make sure you're getting exercise. Make sure you're staying hydrated. Any doctor would tell you those simple principles of health is going to help keep you from getting cancer again. But there's not a single doctor that will tell you that if you just change those lifestyle habits that somehow cancer will bugger off. And I will tell you that people mistake what I do for a living as that. And you know why? Because there are a lot of people out there preaching that. There are a lot of people that are alternative, and I use that loosely, or holistic, or whatever they are, telling you you can make a few simple changes and cancer will disappear. They're very convincing, but it's not really the case at all. So we want them to validate for us. We want that authority figure to say that it's okay, to say that we're going to be okay. How many of you felt total relief when your doctor said, we're going to do XYZ treatments and we're going to do this surgery. And after we're done, you won't have any cancer in your body? Well, okay, let's do that, whatever that is. There are still some people that have seeds of doubt that have been planted in their mind. Still people toying with the seeds of doubt. And I have to tell you, I'm not all medical, 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 medical. I'm not taking up for your doctors. There are a lot of crappy doctors out there. I'm just trying to share some distinctions with you so that you understand how to stand firm, how to make good decisions for yourself, where to step in, where to step away, when to speak up, when to listen. All of those things are very important. But your doctor can't say these things because it would be freaking malpractice. They wouldn't do it. They're not going to put their neck on the line for you. They care about you. They want you to be well. I don't know a single doctor that I've ever met or talked with that wanted their patients to be sick or somehow did not want them to be cured of cancer. But they also have to be very practical and they have to work within the realm of the tools that are given to them to help you. Bottom line. But that's where you come in. Dun dun dun. Maybe you show up as your own superhero. Maybe you don't need validation because you're being the boss. Now, how amazing would that be? What if you showed up to every doctor's appointment like a boss? And now I'm going to share you some distinctions with you that really is the cancer boss difference, right? Because when we're looking for validation from our doctors, cancer's bossing us around. We're not bossing, not your doctors, or not your doctor's not bossing you around. Cancer is bossing you around. When you're looking for somebody to validate, cancer's bossing you around. So why don't you sit back down in the driver's seat, tell cancer to shove over? I'm driving. You're not the boss, I'm the boss. So here are some distinctions. Here are some differences when somebody is being the boss of the situation. First off, they know how to ask intelligent questions to resolve a problem. They're not looking for validation. They're asking intelligent questions so that they can get to a solution. That's a big distinction. Number two, they understand their body's abilities to heal when you give the body the right information to do so. That could be a combination of nutrition, of medical practices, of holistic practices, of mindset, of spirituality, could be some supplements, could be a plethora of things. But a cancer boss understands what those things are, and they understand the ability of the body's ability to, I said that twice, the body of they understand the body's ability to heal when you give it the right information to do so. And believe me, that's not just a physical thing, that is also a mental thing, an emotional thing, a spiritual thing that we experience. They don't need validation from a doctor about diet because they understand what creates healing in the body and they have the confidence that their body will respond because it is responding. They have the evidence. They process their conversation. This is number three. They process their conversations with a doctor as simply as what it is, which is information that leads them towards a solution and not towards fear. They don't have to rely on a doctor saying, you're going to be okay. They know they're going to be okay. They can go into a doctor's appointment just collecting information to take them to that next point. They don't need a validation from that doctor. They see that doctor as a team member. That doctor works for them. They don't work for that doctor. They're the leader of the team. The cancer boss is the boss, and they have team members in place that are helping them through the problem solving parts of this, getting the solutions they need, whether it's getting ahead of cancer medically or really working towards prevention and never having cancer again. Do you see the differences here? The distinctions that are made when you're the boss? Cancer bosses are crystal clear on how and what and why and and what they're going to use for healing. And they don't have to rely totally on one particular person because they have many team members that are supporting them and loving them through this process. They think about their doctor as a technician, and that technician has a certain set of tools. And those certain set of tools do a certain thing to fix a certain problem. But then they also have a team member that is teaching them how to fortify the body nutritionally so that they heal faster between those medical treatments, so that they don't suffer from long-term side effects of cancer treatments, so that they make cancer treatments more effective. They have someone on their side that is helping them through that. Now, here's what a team member is not. A team member is not a book. I love books. Books are amazing. I use books all the time. I get all kinds of wisdom and knowledge and nuggets from books. But books are not my team member. Books have no responsibility for my outcome. They have no responsibility for the transformation that may or may not be created by reading the pages. I have team members in place that help me with that, that show me that way. My doctors, my holistic practitioners, my coaches. I'm a coach. I still need coaches. I get coached too. And it's not because I'm weak and defenseless. It's because I want to up my game. How we get next level? I want to go next level, baby. Let's go supersonic. That's the difference in somebody who's looking for validation, cancer's bossing them around, and somebody who is firmly rooted in the idea of standing in the place of boss and allowing themselves the opportunity to solve their problems strategically, methodically, intelligently, from the heart, from the soul, physically, mentally, emotionally. And you have all that available to you because you're the boss. Today, one of my clients in one of our sessions, she said, I said, I was just really complimenting her because she was sharing just a huge way how she had become a boss. She was like, she was sharing a celebration. We celebrate in every one of our group sessions. One of the ways we start that off is with celebration. So everybody, whoever wants to can celebrate their wins for the week. And she was celebrating and also sharing just a kind of a celebration and then a setback and then back to a celebration again. And I told her, I said, Charlotte, you are such a boss. And she said, well, I have my days. And I said to her, you know what? The richest man in the world, whoever that is, well, let's just use one of the richest men. Let's think about Jeff Bezos, right? Who owns Amazon. Jeff Bezos second guesses himself all the time. He has days, but he is still firmly the boss. He still sits in the driver's seat and runs the show. Anybody who you know that you respect, that you think about, wow, how did they get to that level in their life? Right? That you think of them as like boss, total boss. They have their doubts every single day. Every single day, something crops up and they're like, they shrink. Ah. But the difference is that they have the tools in place to pull themselves back out. They say, okay, well, that's a temporary truth. I'm gonna live with that temporary truth. And how do I get to problem solving? They don't stay there long, right? And so they don't need anybody to validate their decisions. They don't need anybody to stand there and tell them, oh, you're doing so good. They know, they understand. That's the distinction of being a boss. So I ask you, tonight. If you are if you're standing in that point of looking for validation and you were really anxious to hear those three questions, three questions that your doctor would never, or excuse me, those three things that your doctor would never say to you, you need to take stock and evaluation if cancer is bossing you around. And if you feel like it is, if you feel like it is sitting in the driver's seat and that you have lost some control and you're constantly seeking validation, you're looking for somebody to tell you that you're going to be okay, and you want to stop that cycle, and you feel empowered just by a little conversation today, I want to encourage you to reach out to me. We have just opened up some fresh openings on our calendar for what we call a breakthrough call. And it's either going to be myself or my husband who's going to be on the call with you. And we're going to help you discover what it takes to become a boss. And if we can help you, we're going to show you exactly what that looks like. If we feel like that there's somebody else that is a better fit for you, we are going to point you in that direction. But either way, you're going to get massive, massive results from one phone call. My client Tina just shared with me this week. She just had her story is, and I'll share it at some point. So look for Tina's story in our on our Facebook page. But one of the things that Tina had shared with me, thinking about being the boss and being in control of the situation, is she has just had surgery, and she was talking about how you know having having been there in that darkness, sitting in that darkness where cancer was fully bossing her around, and now standing fully in the light on the other side of surgery, and how that one phone call, she said that she had put off getting on the phone with me for months. And so finally she said, I got brave enough to get on a phone call with you. And she said, and that one phone call changed my life forever. She said, I'll never be the same from that one phone call forward. And now, thinking about Tina, who is cancer free. I just got a text from her actually, who doesn't, she just got the news today that there is no cancer in her lymph node, and there was cancer present in her lymph nodes. And she used medical and holistic to form this powerhouse through the body. She was supposed to have a double mastectomy, and she ended up having just a lumpectomy because her treatments were so effective. And Tina did that. A lot of people say, well, that's really good chemo. No, chemo hardly ever works on that level. That was Tina marrying up and sitting in the seat of being a boss and saying, I want something different. I want this to go a different way. She was halfway through her treatments when she came to me. And she stood there in that space and stood firm in that. And now she's 100% cancer free. She did that. She created that in her life. So I'm going to leave you with Tina's story today. I am going to answer some questions. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and type those in. But I'm also going to leave you with a link in the comments. And that link is going to actually be to our training. Our training is called 5 Steps to Becoming the Boss of Your Cancer. If this is your first time hearing me, or maybe you've been putting it off like Tina, right? Just listen to the webinar. At the end of that webinar, that training, it's completely free. It's 45 minutes long. It's a really good training. Listen to that. If it still is speaking to you and it's still resonating you, becoming the boss of your cancer, then I want you to consider the link at the end of the training, which is going to invite you to make a phone call with me. And that phone call, again, is absolutely free. And our outcome in that phone call is to see if there's something that I can do to help you, to see if I can get you where Tina is, to see if I can get you to where Anne Marie is, cancer free for the past 2 years from an aggressive skin cancer, to see if I can help move you towards being the boss. And here's the thing, Anne Marie, Tina, all these people I've talked about tonight, they don't even need me to validate them. They understand the power that is inside of them to create that. Now, I've taught them that. I have trained them and they have trained themselves by doing the work. But that's what very powerful coaching can do for you.